Ahead of the Monetary Policy Committee meeting scheduled to hold today and tomorrow, Business Breakfast takes a look at the considerations that the committee will have to look at before reaching a decision. This is the Monetary Policy Committee's first meeting for the year, and inflation easing for the first time in over 11 months. It remains to be seen if the committee will maintain the status quo or further hike the benchmark interest rate. Joining us for more on this is Olushola Olowoyeye, policy analyst. He joins us virtually. Hello, Dr. Olushola. Thanks for joining us today.
Good morning, Perpetua. It's good to be on your call this morning.
All right, thank you so much. Well, at the last MPC meeting, that was in 2022, the committee raised the benchmark interest rate to 16.5%, with the aim, the aim was to curb the rising inflation rate in the country. Now, I'd like you to talk to us about the impact this has had on businesses so far.
Okay, thank you, Perpetua. Considering the last MPC meeting and the MPR rate fixed at 16.5, this is a very aggressive move from the meeting, and this has quite a lot of impact on financing for a lot of business. Cost of borrowing has increased drastically, and this is really impacting on creation of additional credit. Access to finance has been impacted greatly, and this is really affecting every sector of the economy.
All right. Well, do you think the rate hike was effective in any way, seeing that the goal was to reduce the rate of inflation in the country? Do you think that has been achieved?
Okay. To a reasonable extent, looking at the outcome of from the Nigerian Bureau of Statistics, even though there was a little ease on the inflation rate, dropping by 0.13%, moving from 21.47 to about 21.34. To a reasonable extent, they will say there's an impact, but even though it might not be that very significant, but really, one way or the other, the heat is on every company, every individual is facing it big time.
Well, looking at the ease you talked about, you said there might be some level of success. Let's take a look at some other policies of the CBN, really. Talk about the minimum the withdrawal, the cash withdrawal rate, and then also looking at the other one, which is the redesign of the Naira, which also was aimed at probably addressing inflation. Do you think that redesign of the Naira note had any impact whatsoever on what was recorded last month? If you can hear me, Dr. Olushola, you already said that we can see some improvement. And I was asking if the withdrawal limit, which of course took effect January 9th, and also the talk about the redesign of the new Naira note had any impact or any role to play. We might want to say the withdrawal limit didn't have any impact to play because it was supposed to take off by January. So we might excuse that. But for the redesigned Naira note, do you think it had any impact whatsoever in what was recorded in December?
Okay, in anticipation of the redesign, quite a lot of impact from expectations. Different stakeholders reacting to the redesign. Some in anticipation, have taken some moves and some steps. And this is greatly impacting. Also, if you look at the withdrawal limit, there's a lot of pushback from different sectors that the withdrawal limit should be adjusted, and we can see a reflection of that. That CBN has been able to revise it from 100,000 to about 500,000, and that shows clearly that it's having impact. And also the redesign, if you look at it from the other perspective, where people have to go and do so much deposit, you can see a lot of Nigerians are now moving their cash to the bank. I'm sure you have the record of what was recorded within a month, billions of cash.
Right. Well, moving on, earlier you talked about the impact that the hike in rate had on businesses, how that, they couldn't get access to finance become a problem. Do you think there was anything at all the government could have done to reduce the impact it had on businesses and probably individuals?
Okay, considering what is going on globally, not our CBN is not only the regulator that is moving in this particular direction. Globally, however, the rate at which the MPR was moved is one of the highest globally. So maybe as much as they want to go aggressive in addressing inflation, maybe it should have been done gradual as against taking that a hawkish or what we call an aggressive move. That was really, really aggressive, and it's affected quite a lot of business. A whole lot of business have been affected. They're unable to come back even this January out of the kind of ease that was experienced from that reaction.
Well, my point is, was there anything the government could have done really to probably ease the suffering of some of those businesses? Anything to, alleviate whatever impact the rate hike was having on their businesses?
As much as there are some relief in some sectors which CBN can intervene for, this is a general move, and government intervening now to ease either SMEs or ease agriculture or ease real estate is not really top on the agenda now. Rather, I'm sure you know that everything is climaxed towards the election, and so the moves have been a bit very strategic for each of the move government is taking. So it's possible that they could come in terms of intervention and some reliefs. However, it's also a function of what is in the pocket of the government to be able to achieve this objective. And so what could have been done best is to have make it a gradual one as against this very aggressive move.
Right. Well, while analysts from the financial derivatives company think inflation will ease further in January, some analysts who spoke to iBrandTV on Analyst Hangout gave a contrary opinion. They were saying that the inflation rate will rise again in January and going forward. For them, this is as a result of the current hike in the price of premium motor spirit and the federal government's plan to gradually remove subsidy by the second quarter of 2023. What's your own projection and why?
Okay, based on my projection and looking at the indices and data we have so far from Nigerian Bureau of Statistics coming back to us that between November and December there was an ease of 0.13%. That is not so significant. We will be seeing a much more impact in January to see whether we're going to sustain the ease, but with indication from PMS going up and with election coming up in February, we are not expecting anything so much changing from status quo. And so it's either we are maintaining a base on the inflation rate, but if there's going to be any increase at all, it's not going to be so much drastic like we.
Okay. Well, finally, Dr. Ishola, what are your expectations from the MPC meeting?
From the MPC meeting is that some of the indicators they might need to.
Okay, Dr. Ishola, I guess that's network connection issue. But very quickly, if you can hear me, I'll just like you to share with us your thoughts, what you expect from the MPC meeting happening today, tomorrow.
If you can hear me, what I'm saying is that most of the votes are going to be towards maintaining status quo. There's not going to be so much significant changes. And even if we're going to see any at all, it will fall within the range of that 25 basis point to 50 basis point. And it's not going to be as aggressive as it has always been. A little bit of ease should be expected. And taking from in anticipation of the election, we don't expect so much drastic move, and we need to watch how things will turn out. And knowing fully well that the MPC will also have to react to new government taking over, new reign coming up.
All right, thank you so much, Doctor, for sharing your thoughts with us on the show today.
Thank you very much for having me.
Bye for now. We'll take a break now. When we come back, we have more for you. Stay with us.